How's it going, guys? I'm Cherokee Ronnie, and I'm back at you with another video. I don't see many of these videos made or even on threads online. So today we're going to be talking about the common problems with the Jeep WJ. I'm sure there's going to be a part 2 to this. I remind you, this Jeep has 190,000 miles on it. So this Jeep has some wear on it. So what's done to mine might not happen to yours yet if you have lower miles. But I'm going to start in the interior first, and then we'll move to the outside. But the first thing we want to take a look at is sometimes your blend doors don't work. So when you go to switch this, it don't work. A common issue with this Jeep is the clock spring. When it goes bad, the horn won't work, the airbag light will set and chime, and also the light will stay on, and when you move your wheel, the light will go on and off. I've even heard in some cases when the clock spring goes bad that the blinkers stop working, but I have not seen that yet. But when it goes bad, the airbag light will stay on. If you have an inspection in your state, you will not be able to get an inspection with the airbag light on because it won't let the airbags work. Another thing is the window regulator. As you can see, this one is already cursed by it. I have to hold it up with pins until I can get one to fix it. If not, this window will just slide down. And another problem with this Jeep is if you have the sunroof model, it don't want to open or it don't want to close, but it'll go up and down. Like it'll just go up and down a little bit. But if you don't get it sealed, it will leak and rain in here. So make sure if it messes up, just get it where it can seal and don't mess with it. The switch is right here. And another problem with these Jeeps are the wiring harness in the door. I've seen a lot of these mess up, not work at all, or when you open the door, none of the power windows will work. And as you can see, I'm about ready to show you a big wiring mess that I have to address. That it's already been affected. Jeep always has this problem. If you have a lot of miles on your Jeep, your console lid is probably broken. They don't latch anymore. So, and usually these bust after a while. This cheap plastic, easy to fix, but I'm not worried about it. Another common problem you have when you lift the gate, the shocks won't hold and the gate will shut. And the second problem is when you have two sensors on each side of the gate, and these usually go bad. And when they go bad, it'll always illuminate. It'll illuminate right here and tell you that the lift gate is open. But if you slam it real hard, it might go away. That's what I do to mine. I just slam it hard as I can, and it stops, and it doesn't tell me that it's open. The heated seat option, if you have a lot of miles on your Jeep, more than likely they don't work anymore. And it's not worth, replacing the parts because they're a lot of money. An old Jeep like this, it's not worth it. Another thing that goes bad is the seat itself. As you can see, it just like pulls out or something. I'm going to try to fix it because I don't want to put a different color seat here, but more than likely your seat does the same thing. Key switch is going bad and like locking up. They also are known for the thing under here not reading the key. So, and if that happens, you have to go get stuff programmed in the computer. It's not cheap. Even if you get a new key, you have to have it programmed. You cannot use a cut key for this. You have to go have it programmed because you can program the fob. It's pretty easy. But to program a new key, this has a chip in it, and you have to have it programmed to this computer. So, I've heard of people they've had several Jeeps and keeping the keys, like if they junked them, or they have two Grand Cherokees and sticking the wrong key in the switch. And I've heard of it kicking the security system on and locking up everything, and you have to go take it to the dealer and get it flashed to get it to work again. So make sure you know what you're doing, which key you have. Another thing with this Jeep, if somebody messes with the seat and unplugs this, causes issues with the airbag. 2, if somebody unplugged this and plugged it back in while the battery is connected, it'll cause the airbag light to stay on, and you have to go to a shop and get the airbag light to go out. Most of the times it'll go out after you drive it for so long, but I've seen it a lot of times where you just have to go get it deleted, like out of the computer. So that's another thing to keep in mind. if you're changing the seat or anything like that, because I've seen people change the seats in these, leave the battery plugged in, then the airbag light comes on. Now, this Jeep has the 4.7 in it, and depends what Jeep you have. This is a Jeep Limited, so it has the 4.7. And it has like leather interior and the wood grain in the case, like the higher end model. Just, you know, more stuff that can break. But let's talk about the motor for a minute. When you get some miles on this 4.7, a lot of people bash on the 4.7s. They say they're junk, they're not reliable, but they are reliable if you maintenance them. The first thing that you need to do is keep the oil changed. I know a lot of oil companies say you can go 10,000 miles or 5,000 miles. Change your oil every 3,000 miles with full synthetic in a 4.7, and it'll run perfect. Now, when this motor gets some miles on it, the rocker arms may fly off and go down in the corner in the valve pan cover. Best thing to do is just go ahead and take your valve latch adjusters apart, clean them, and make sure they pump up fine. If not, replace them. And another noise that you may hear when you first start it up is, you know, not getting, people say, oh, it's not getting up to the lifters. But what I found out, it's the timing chain tensioners leaking off. And when you first start it, you hear a lot of chatter, but then it goes away. I've seen this on higher end 4.7s and lower end 4.7s. So I'm starting to really study these 4.7s. We have a 4.7 truck at work. And I'm really studying it, how it runs. It's got 140,000. This guy has 190,000. So they're both doing the same thing, and there's no difference, okay? So another thing, a lot of people get confused with the misfire. I've seen this on threads, on Facebook, on YouTube. They say my Jeep, my truck is misfiring. I can feel it shake, but there's no codes. The 4.7 naturally like shakes the vehicle. Like it just has like a little bit of a shake. Every V8 does, but for some reason in this Jeep you notice it really, really bad. Now another thing is with this 4.7 is the exhaust note is a little bit different because it's an overhead cam. It has overhead cams. It's not down in. It's right in the valve pan cover. So they're going to sound different too. And another problem with the 4.7 is the manifolds. When they start to leak, you'll hear it. When you first start it, it'll go. It'll sound like a tick. A lot of people confuse that with the tick in the engine. Then after a while, you'll start hearing it blow the gasket out. And I'm going to tell you something. It's better off to go take this and have it done because it's a pain in the butt, and two, the bolts are going to break off. That's all I can tell you. Other than that, these Jeeps are really good. They have wiring problems. Sometimes when your clock, like I said, your clock spring goes bad, your air conditioner controls might not work, and your heater controls. But other than that, everything seems to be really reliable in these Jeeps. If you have the V8 version, you don't have to worry about the transmission in these Jeeps. A problem I have with everybody saying that the transmissions are junk in the new 4.0s, like the WJs. We have one at work that we overheat pretty regularly, and we bash on it pretty hard, honestly, because it's a work Jeep, not like abusing it, but that's just a work Jeep, and it has the 4.0 and that weak transmission. It shifts hard, but it's still going. So these things are pretty reliable. I think a lot of people spread a lot of hate on these vehicles, and that's what steers a lot of XJs or a lot of XJ owners away from them. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of hate because I bought a Grand Cherokee and it has, you know, blah, blah, blah. But listen, this thing's going to flex like crazy. And it rides like a Cadillac. So I'm going to have an off-road vehicle and it's going to ride really, really good. It was just scratching the surface of these Jeeps and what I've learned so far. And it seems pretty easy to figure out. I've only had it for a couple weeks. So anyway, I'm Cherokee Ronnie. Stay dirty, my friends.